Welcome to the Black Entrepreneur Experience podcast, inside the business, buzz, and brilliance of Black entrepreneurs. Here is your host, Dr. Frances Richards.
What happens in Vegas goes all over the world on Black Entrepreneur Experience, episode number 440. Thank you for joining us as we elevate the Black Entrepreneur Experience by interviewing CEOs, thought leaders, innovative thinkers, and Black entrepreneurs across the globe. I'm your host, Dr. Frances Richards. Joining us today are true trailblazers, industry masteries, and go-to experts in investments through precious metals to build wealth. Alex Lexington founders, Andre and Danielle Osborne. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
It's a pleasure to be here, Dr. Richards.
Thank you. I've given our audience such a brief bio. Why don't you fill in the gaps and share with our audience what you'd like them to know about you and your business?
I would love the audience to know that my family has been in the precious metals and diamond space since the 1970s. My husband and I make 3 generations in this business. I like to tell clients we are lifers. We're not here for just a moment. And we help clients to invest using the vehicle of gold, silver, platinum, palladium. They are the oldest form of currency in the world. They've been here since biblical times, and it is one of the safest vehicles to store your wealth. And when you're trying to set out a savings plan, it can also help you in those avenues as well. My father, Easton Dawkins, another founder of Alex Lexington, started in the Diamond District in Manhattan in the 1970s with his uncle, and they would polish, laser drill, and clean diamonds for all the diamond houses in Manhattan. And across the U.S., they had clients as far as California. And they started in diamonds. They moved to scrap gold and silver. And when me and Andre came into the industry about 14 years ago, we continued in scrap with my father, and we've also added investment with coins and bullion. And our most recent addition to our portfolio, so to speak, is custom fine jewelry.
So talk about getting in the industry. Was there any reservations at all?
It's funny. It's what I ran from. When I was younger, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I figured I'd be in business. I never thought I'd go into the family business, so to speak. And after I finished my bachelor's degree, I was kind of wandering for a minute. And my father said, well, I'm retiring from New York. I think I want to open a place here. And me and Andre had just gotten married. And he said, I'll teach you everything I know. And 14 years later, here we are. And I love what I do. It's every day is something new. No 2 days are ever the same in this business or this industry.
And no 2 deals are the same.
And no 2 deals are ever the same. And it has been a bit of a roller coaster at times. You know, working with your spouse all day, every day is not the easiest thing in the world to do. But I think we found our
balance.
I love that balance. We found our balance in this life. And precious metals and gold and diamonds and jewelry we eat, live, and breathe it every day.
Andre, tell us your backstory coming into the family business.
Well, a Super Bowl party is what brought us to this point. My father-in-law at a Super Bowl party, Danielle and I have known each other since high school, actually, said, I want to open a location here in Atlanta. I evaluated my life where I was, and I said, I think he's doing pretty well for himself. I think I'll take a chance at this. We were 25, 26 at the time.
26.
We literally eloped, got married, came back and said, let's do it. The next May, that was the next May, we had opened a location in Midtown Atlanta. The rest is history. We've been doing it 14 years now. We use our marriage, our anniversary, as a barometer of how long we've been in the business. So that's an easy way to gauge. My background, I've done a little bit of everything, so to speak. Graphic design, worked in call centers. I've done cashier service, customer service. So all of those skills prepared me for the business that we're in right now. When you're in a family business, at some point you do pretty much everything. So the skills that I honed working for my own family's business, and other career positions that I've had have brought us to this point where you do a little bit of everything. Everything you see here, we've had to reinvent a couple times to build us to where we are right now. And I had operations here in all things buying precious metals and selling the investment aspect of the business with coins and bullion. And that's my specialty here. Danielle specializes in the all things moving money and all things custom jewelry and fine jewelry and diamonds that clients are looking for.
Talk about marriage, money, and managing a business.
It is complicated. Managing a business when you're married, it's very different when everything, all the income from your household is coming from one place. It's just a little different. So when business is not well, it's not well for the house. And it's a give and take. Sometimes I do more, sometimes he does more, and finding that balance to make sure the business is thriving and our household is stable and our marriage is interesting every day. And every day we pivot, every day we challenge each other to do better, and every day we try.
What I tell people, sorry to cut you there, is when we started, we would argue about little things. We had one car when we started. We didn't start as this company that was just at the top of the space. When we started, we had one car. We were building a whole new branch in a different state based on what Dad was used to. And now I joke around and say our only problem is money. Everything else in life is a breeze. We don't really argue. We have quick discussions, heated debate, and we move on very quickly. I always say never be above reproach. I can be wrong. You can be wrong. Someone's the best person for the job is how we approach a lot of things in our life. And we kind of advise people to do the same. That's how we function in our day-to-day lives. And that's, I think, what's been one of the actually selling points why people like to do business with us. People love to interact with us from a client perspective. It inspires other people to know that you can work with your spouse and
actually like the person.
Conflict resolution is very easy for us. And I think that's one of our strengths.
Danielle, that's huge what you said, to actually like the person, to work with someone day in and day out, and then you're with that person 24/7. And once you leave the business, if it's not remote, or you still like the person. And you mentioned about pivot. Talk about, and I know in business, there's a lot of ebb and flows. Talk about the pivot, the pandemic, and I'm sure you've seen some other pivots that you've had to have in the business.
So one of our biggest pivots was to move away from scrap metal, where clients, other businesses, and private clients would sell us their old gold, silver, jewelry, flatware. That was our primary product that we would deal with when we first got into the industry. And as the market started to slow in the scrap space, we moved into coins and bullion. We saw a place where people were moving toward either investing in coins and bullion to stabilize or preserve their wealth, or people were liquidating positions for whatever personal reasons. Example, we have a client, he liquidates his parts of his coin position twice a year to pay for his grandkids' college tuition. So they will graduate with no debt whatsoever. And he was a teacher, a public school teacher. So that was probably the biggest pivot we've done in the last 14 years.
Well, one of my mentors has always told me, you have to reinvent yourself. As the market changes, you have to reinvent yourself. And that's how you survive. I don't really care if you're a mom and pop shop or a Fortune 500 company. If you do not adjust for the market, death is inevitable. And because we do what we do and we have the connections that we have, we've just pivoted within the wheelhouse of the industry, so to speak. So most of our clients were primarily industry clients. Most of his business was industry people when he started. He wasn't really dealing with the retail space. We pivoted from that to more of a retail space. And then from that's when the coins and bullion came into play. And since then, let's say post-pandemic, I want to say 80% of our business is at least coins and bullion, people that have invested. We have evolved into, I like to say, a luxury brand when we added fine jewelry, diamonds, and the custom jewelry work that Danielle does through our connections to the Diamond District. So we've kept pivoting, and we're still in business. I like to say when other people didn't adjust, they had a lot more money than we did, but we adjusted, and that's why we're still in business.
And a lot of that is living and breathing the industry. And that's part of entrepreneurship. When you leave and the door is closed, work is still not done. You are still doing it. You're helping the kids with homework, but you're on the computer dealing with a client or whatever is going on. And you'd start to see things coming. There's those little things that happen where you see clients you used to see every week you see them once every other week and then once a month, and you're like, And all of our mentors, I believe, are in like their 70s,
60 to 70s
in the industry, because most of this industry are family-owned businesses. So you're the elder, so to speak, just like my father, are still in the business, sometimes on a day-to-day basis, sometimes every day. And
they're semi-retired.
They've seen it before. If you've been in this industry for 40 years, you've seen it go up and down and around and all over the place. And things start to you start to recognize things as you see them coming.
Speaking of our elders and history, talk about African Americans industry.
We are few and far between. And I believe a big part of that is because the majority of this industry, outside of the few big conglomerates that are in it, are family owned or started as family owned. And if the next generation isn't taking it, it's being sold off or just closed. And if we weren't there when it started, then in the industry, when it started to grow, there's very little chance that going backwards that you're going to see it. I know my father and his uncles were the only people that looked like them on 47th Street for a very long time. We are there now. There are more of us. But back in the 70s when they started, it wasn't something you saw.
But that's, to be more specific, that's on what we like to say, jewelry side of the business.
Yes, there are two different sides
of the industry. In the coins and bullion side, I don't see anybody that looks like us. I went to a show. I think I saw one person that looked like me in the entire show. I'm the only person that was a dealer. And I don't think I've ever met or heard of anybody that's a dealer that looks like us. Part of the reason is, as a community, Black people as a whole, we like things, or it seems that we like things that are fast, that don't require time to season. Coins and bullion are not a quick flip. It's not a it's not an aspect or asset class that's spoken about widely. It's almost like real estate. We're new to real estate, not say new to real estate, but you hear a lot of people talking about real estate now that look like us because they're realizing a lot of the wealth is accumulated through real estate. So an asset class that is never spoken about really is precious metals, because it's cultural. Every culture but ours has somebody within their community that specializes in precious metals. Your Indian, your Asian, Middle Eastern,
We've had a lot of Indian clients come in and say they're going to a wedding, so they have to buy gold coins to give to the bride and groom, because that culturally, that is what you give at a wedding. You don't buy off of a registry, you give coins.
So if you're accumulating your wealth, and it's something that we are, unfortunately, statistically, they say that our wealth is depreciating very quickly. Precious metals is something that no one's going to necessarily tell you, because no one's going to tell you how much they have accumulated in their personal space. And we don't really talk money from a savings perspective. We generally speak about spending. So something that I'm very big and adamant about talking with people that look like us is, how are you retaining your wealth, protecting your money? And this is a vehicle that has been around since biblical times as a storage of wealth. And education is everything. So I think it's something that as people of color, we need to pay attention to. And it's a whole category that we're missing out on because we may not feel that it's appealing or quick.
What is something that we should know about the industry that we don't know about the industry?
To me, the most basic thing to know is American coins, quarters, dimes, and half dollars. Pre-1965, they were made of 90% silver. So your quarter is not worth 25 cents. Your quarter is worth
$2, $3.
$2 or $3. When silver is higher, it can go up to $5. I've seen quarters go up to $5 in value. And that is something that simple. And I know as a community, I can remember being young and my parents having just bottles or paint buckets just of coins they would throw in. It's like, oh, anything that came in your pocket in the evening, you threw it into the bucket. And that was a small form of savings. I will bet money that there is someone out here that still has that jar full of coins that has been accumulating since the 70s, the 80s, that has coins in there that is worth more than face value. And that is something that is, for as far as I know, not common knowledge.
Another thing is people have this misconception that people no longer invest in coins and bullion or invest in gold and silver because their financial advisor doesn't promote it. And that's something because your financial advisor, typically speaking, is selling a product from their own company. They're not going to tell you that the U.S. Treasury still produces a large amount of gold and silver and platinum coins. So it's not popular because of the interest of the companies that are advising us on our money. So if you, once more going back to culture, if you didn't, let's say, collect coins with your grandfather or your parents, then you're unaware that this is an investment vehicle that a good portion of the country is investing in. And they literally can't produce them fast enough. So it's something that everyone should know.
And also, you're never too young or too old to start investing in coins and bullion. I think Andre's youngest client was 10 years old.
Yeah, he's probably about 12 or 13.
He's probably 13 now.
And I was about to say something about the story. When he started, a friend of the family advised the mother that he should take some money that he's spending on video games and get some coins. He came in, he spent about $20. And the very key point about this story is, I believe you could say he's almost changed the trajectory of members in his family, because family members from, I believe it's North Carolina, were visiting. They realized that they found out that he was investing in coins, and they were buying coins where they were from. And now they come in every time, and every time they come into town, they stop and see me because our prices were better. Our selection was better. And someone that looked like us, someone that looked like them, gave them sound advice to better what they were doing. And they've told other people since then. So it's a domino effect, and it can start anywhere. It doesn't take a lot. We have clients that do a couple of dollars. We have clients that are doing tens of thousands of dollars, and other clients that are doing hundreds of thousands. So there really isn't a financial level that is not investing. We have a product that comes from the U.S. Treasury that's $1 million product, and people are selling multiple boxes of these every month. So it's a lot of unspoken things that are going on that we don't know about. So awareness is everything, and education is everything.
So if you want to give someone some coins, and I've seen it where it's interesting that you would talk about the bucket of coins, because I have like a bucket of coins. And so my mother, who is 95 years old, still living, still active by the grace of God, she has given all of us coins, right? And Susan B. Anthony's, and she talks about all the different coins, right?
Yes,
and so she would say, no one has their coins anymore. Like I still have mine. And so I'm asking if you want to gift someone a coin, and I do have some coins, and they're like in I want to say like in a little plastic something, or like in
Yes,
a
they come in
container.
coin holder cases.
Thank you for that clarification. And so my husband of 29 years, 9 months passed away last year. And so I have some coins that he started investing in coins. And they're just there. Like I haven't looked at, and then I've had people have gifted me, and I just put them in a safe. I haven't revisited. And so the idea and the conversation is around generational wealth. And I have 3 grandchildren that I would like to gift them some coins. So that's a great idea for Christmas, to actually gift them coins. Talk about that.
You are 100% right. One of the easiest transfers of wealth is through coins. Now, you might say to yourself, why so? Imagine I had a client that was experiencing some trouble. They were starting a business, and they they received a batch of coins from their parent. They needed to do something, I think it was like $40,000, $50,000. And the mother said, okay, here are these gold coins. They contacted us. We had done previous business, and they said, I needed to do this, this, and this. And you're able to transfer wealth in a very simple and rudimentary way, which is hand somebody a product that has appreciated in value when our cash is depreciating in value, and it's accumulated wealth over the span of 20, 30 years. There's nothing better than being able to help somebody in your family develop a business, grow a business, and invest in them in the simplest way with some money. And coins and bullion enable you to do that. If you bought something, let's say in the 90s, 80s at $200 an ounce, just to throw some numbers out there, and gold has come up to $1,900 an ounce. So the numbers are real. These are hard assets that are legitimate forms of developing your wealth. Something to be very aware of. So to be more specific with the Christmas aspect, a lot of clients purchase coins and they gift them to grandkids. They gift them to other family members.
Birthday presents.
We don't just give money haphazardly to children, our friends and our kids' friends. We give them silver coins, wedding gifts. Depends on what culture you are generally, or your budget. You can give gold coins. It's not unheard of. Like I said, it goes back to culture and what you understand. So it's something that you can do, anybody can do.
It's sort of like how back in the day, and I'm not sure, people might still do this, they would buy bonds for kids. And you would keep your bonds and you'd save them until high school, college, and then you would cash in your bonds when you needed to pay for something. Coins and bullion can be the same thing. And it's just a matter of starting. It's not extreme. Some of us spend $30 at Starbucks every single week. And it can start with that. And especially with children, if they start with buying one Silver Eagle, the American coin of choice, if they start buying one Silver Eagle every week, a couple of months, and they start putting those coins aside. And it's not something that you look at every day. You buy it, you put it to the side, and you leave it alone. Just like you said, you put it in the safe. And I don't have a reason to touch this until I need it for the value of it for something. And that can be started by visiting our website and talking about it. We are very good. We try to be very diligent about it, educating our clients, because we want our clients to be educated. We want them to know what they're doing and what they're getting into and how they can use this to store money.
You mentioned check out the website. So if an individual would like to purchase, they can purchase from anywhere. They don't necessarily have to physically come to Atlanta to purchase.
Correct.
Give them the website, please.
It's alexlexington.com. And for education purposes, it's alexlexingtonnetwork.com. We put up a lot of educational videos and happenings in the market on that platform.
Yes, I could see my 3 soon to be 4-year-old grandson. I give him a coin and he's like, let's go to the dollar store.
Yes, and the silver eagles they're listed as a dollar coin, but yes, sweetie, we don't want to spend this at the dollar store. We want to put this in our safe. We want to put this in a place where no one is just going to go be able to touch it, because something else that isn't really known, silver and gold coins are very sensitive. If you drop them, bang them against each other, they nick very easily, because pure silver and pure gold is very, very soft.
That's good. And we want to make sure that you put it up, because if you're playing with little Susie or Johnny, we don't want them to accidentally take it home and think it's a little game piece.
Yes.
That sounds exactly like what a child would do with it.
But the benefit I would like to say is, if these are the habits that you develop when you're young, it becomes more natural. And the more natural savings and investing become in our community, the more wealth we're going to accumulate. So the habits that you need start from when they're young, and do it with them, invest with them, educate them on what you're doing, what you're spending your money, why you're spending your money on this. And when you get to an older age, like like us, you'll have a better understanding. I know my mother used to balance the books in our home, and she would always say, this is what we're spending on this is what we're spending on this. And because of that, you have a better understanding of how money flows. So information and exposure is always going to be the key to making better decisions long term. And that as a whole, I think will encourage and have a better situation for all communities, I think.
What's your biggest takeaway from our conversation? What do you want the audience to leave with?
So I'll go. One of the biggest takeaways that I'd like individuals to know is there are multiple levels to everyone's money, but there is a product available for you at your level. If you're looking to spend a couple $100, we have an avenue for you. If you're looking to spend tens of thousands of dollars, we have an avenue for you. And if you want to spend hundreds of thousands, if not millions, there's an avenue for you. Nobody's exempt. Everybody needs to protect their money at some level. And I would like to also say, this is not a put all your eggs in one basket. We don't subscribe to that. This is a percentage of whatever it is that you're saving. People get excited, people get happy, and they go all in. And I never recommend that to any of our clients or anything else in life. You should do it at a percentage of what your portfolio is, and you'll look around in a couple of years and be very, very happy. I feel that we're at a pivotal moment in history where things look different in our economy. People talk about the stock market every day, and we're at I guess they say, the greatest change of wealth, transfer of wealth in a lifetime, or if not ever. And don't let this opportunity, I like to say, pass you by, but don't get overly excited and go all in. Do it at a moderate rate. Pace yourself. You won't miss out if you do. Consistency is the most key thing, not going extreme.
I would like to add to that. Do your research. Our website is not the only place that is going to have this kind of information. There are Google, the World Wide Web will give you all of this information from other reputable resources as well as ours. And I say that because I want people to know exactly what they're getting into, whether it's coins or bullion or jewelry for that matter. Mm-hmm. In 14 years, we've had a lot of people come in and say, well, I was told this was this. And we spent the first part of our time in this industry testing metal and testing diamonds and evaluating it. And it breaks my heart so often to say that is not what this is. And it's one of the bigger reasons why I decided to move into the fine jewelry space and custom space, because I want people to know what they're getting. Is jewelry expensive? Absolutely. But how is the information being given to you? And is it the correct information that you're getting?
There are so many brands and businesses that are dominating. Talk about a brand or a business that's dominating that you admire and why.
The platform that Alex Lexington is mimicked off of a company called Sharps Pixley out of the UK. They provide a series of different services. We basically had the same, let's say, parts, but we didn't implement them a certain way. So that's why I said I see us as a luxury brand, a luxury platform, because they provided the services, but they were positioned a certain way. So we buy and sell coins and bullion, just like Sharps Pixley does. And the only difference is they have a on-site depository, I believe, and that's something that we're looking to emulate here in Georgia. That's one of my long-term goals. I do not believe we have one here. And from a market perspective, I think Atlanta has developed into a city that can support that service locally. So that's Sharps Pixley is a brand that we emulate here at Alex Lexington, and that's motivated me to push to the next level as a standard.
And for me, within the jewelry space, I admire Tiffany. They are a standard. The continuity across their platform is something to strive for. When they tell you this is what it is, it's what it is. I mean, they created the 925 stamp on silver and the longevity and the continuity. And they started off as a family business, just like we did. I don't believe they're no longer family owned, but
no, they're not.
Their continuity in the luxury space and the test of time that they've stood is something I admire.
Can I add something? Danielle, as a custom jeweler in the space, I think long-term will be a major staple. So to create your own path, there are custom jewelers in our space that look like us on the jewelry side.
There are.
But to be a standard, I use Dapper Dan. I have his book behind me. He's an industry staple that plays at the high luxury level in clothing. So Danielle, I feel, is going to be a standard by which people will emulate at some point in time, because she has a touch with jewelry, and her clients love her. And if you're looking to do something in the custom jewelry space, that's my shameless plug of my wife's ability to deliver at a high level.
I like to tell people, your spouse should be your biggest cheerleader. If they don't get behind your dreams and your visions, sometimes I think it needs to be reevaluated. The person sitting next to you should be your biggest cheerleader and the biggest push. And my husband likes to talk about me way too much, I think, sometimes.
Whether she likes it or not, it's a goal that she's going to be achieving one way or another. So at least you accept it early. I feel if you accept it early, you're going to get where you're going faster.
That is absolutely precious. Thank you for that. I want you to have a monologue. I want you to name this person, living or not, and they have inspired you so much. Who is that person, and what are you saying to that person?
Well, the person that I would say, we had a family member pass. His name was Carlton Rose. Carlton Rose was a high performer that left a perfectly working plane, as we like to say, jumped out and joined our family business and worked with us, developed us to get where we are today. He used to say, Andre, you're our horse. You're the only horse we got that does what you do. And he motivated me in a very big way to perform and feel that he's like, listen, I've been in boardrooms, I've flown on private planes, I've gone all these places, and I will take you guys up against any team that I know is out there. And we didn't understand what he was saying when he said it, but he's still motivating us, even though he's no longer with us. So he passed 5 years ago. And even though he's no longer with us, he's like a Yoda. He's still telling us what to do. Like you can still hear his voice telling you, do this, or he's motivated us, encouraged us in multiple ways to be the best that we can be. And he always demanded excellence out of us.
Sorry for your loss.
I'm sorry. Just give me one moment. He's got me crying in here. That was my cousin. That was my big brother. And he's exactly who I would talk to and say thank you for everything. Oh my goodness, sorry. Sorry.
No.
Thank you for pushing me. Thank you for listening. Thank you for guiding us. I'm so sorry.
No apology necessary. Wow.
But we say we got our master's degree from the University of Carlton Rose because he pushed us to levels we never thought we would go. And
he's still pushing us, technically speaking.
Things happen and I can still hear his voice and exactly what he would say to me when it happened. But he is who I would talk to and just say thank you.
Wow. Thank you for that.
Something he would always say is for other entrepreneurs out there, whenever you do what you can do, because business is never always going to always be great. We've survived a couple times where we thought we were done in business. And he says, do what you can do. God will do the rest. Keep moving down the path.
Don't stop walking down the path.
Yeah. So that's something I always tell my clients that are having a bad day, something that we tell each other, and got to keep pushing. Entrepreneurship's not for the faint of heart, and it's not for everyone. But if you know this is what you're destined to do, I always say that I know my destiny, and you don't know how you're going to achieve your destiny. You just know you're going to get there. So I encourage people to know what your destiny is, and faith and hard work is where I say the crossroad of what motivates us every day.
What problem exists in the world today that you would like to solve?
Effort. I think a lot of the problem that we have is effort. God doesn't guarantee us that it's going to be great, that everything's always going to be okay. But effort, I think effort is the biggest game changer for us.
I think kindness. There isn't enough kindness in the world. And I think if we found that, a lot of other things could be fixed. Kindness costs you nothing. And kindness to a stranger, kindness to someone you know and love, it's not hard.
Especially people you know.
People you know.
I think that's something we tell our kids in the morning, because they're 9 and 4. And that they are, well, Alex and Lexington is the business actually named after them. We changed the name about 5 years ago. So Alex and Lexington, we tell them in the morning during prayer, we say, listen, you must be loving and caring and kind to those that you know and those that you don't know.
Advice you wish you had followed?
I wish I had listened to my father when I was 18 years old and pushed through college and then made decisions instead of getting married at 22. He said, I'm going to support you, but I don't think this is a good idea.
I have a lot of talk to God moments. And one time God told me, people say this stuff like all the time, but now that I'm living it, I say, God gave me a warning. He said, listen, next time you don't take what I'm telling you to do, you might not recover. So everybody's belief is different, I like to say, but the universe, God will tell you things. It's your job to have mental clarity. And I think taking a moment to reflect, have some mental clarity, clear your head, and listen to the voice on your shoulder. It's still a small voice. I think there are plenty of times we ignore our intuition, but listen to that voice, and you might not have to go through some of the pain that you experience in life and in business.
Oh, I feel I should clarify something. Andre's my second marriage. I realized I made that statement, and they might think I was talking about him, and I'm not.
Well, when he didn't respond, like, you made a mistake with me, I knew it wasn't Andre, but thank you for clarifying for
No
our
problem.
listening audience. What is your zone of genius? Another way is, what is your superpower?
My superpower, I believe, is my sense of style and my sense of how to put something together. And I believe that helps me a lot with moving into the custom jewelry space. It may take me a second to figure out just what's wrong, but I'm going to figure it out. And I can look at something and say, there's something not right about this.
So people skills. I have the ability to take something as complicated as brain surgery, just throw out something crazy and translate it to layman's terms and get the job done. So people skills. And
Andre's never met a stranger in his life.
I guess, you don't have to act like a stranger if you don't want to be one. So meet people, get the job done. And I think we're our superpowers, because we have a team mentality. If there's something that I can't do, Danielle can do. And I don't think we found something that we haven't been able to achieve because one can do it. And being smart enough to know what you don't know, I think is a skill as well. And that's something I tell people all the time. I can get something done because I know somebody for something, and I'm smart enough to know that I don't know something. And we're able to lean on each other for that.
If you conducted this interview, what is the one question you would have asked yourself? I want you to ask the question and answer it.
Why does your marriage work so well? And my answer would be because I married my best friend.
I don't think answer is that simple.
It's a start. That goes back to liking you. At the end of the day, no matter whether I'm mad at you, no matter we had a hard work day, I messed up on something, you messed up on something. At the end of the day, I like you as a human. And that will get you through a lot of the rough, because marriage is not easy. Running a business with your spouse is not easy. And you actually have to like the person. And that is how our marriage works.
To add, so I'm going to go with Danielle's question, but I'm going to add, knowing something my father, who's a very large man, he's like 6'5", 240. My father always said, you're never above reproach. So nothing is wrong with telling somebody you're sorry. Nothing is wrong with saying that you were wrong. And I think that's in business, that can get you very far in our marriage. I think that's something that has helped us well. I'll apologize to our daughter will do something when she was younger. It's only one child. And I said, Daddy was wrong. I'm sorry. And I have no problem apologizing. And I think that's something that people can avoid more headache if they don't double down on something just because they just want to be right. Say you're sorry. It doesn't make you any less of a person. It actually makes you more confident in being able to go out and deliver. If you can say you're sorry and know you were wrong and move on. Heck, we just had something happen last night. I literally screwed up a deal where I'm doing a 6-figure deal today, and I made an offer without all the data, based on previous data that I had, and God willing, I'll break even on the situation. But I got my tail handed to me because my wife was very unhappy with me making said decision. And I went to the gym. She took the kids. We met back for dinner. And I said, I know how I went wrong. And you got to eat some humble pie and move on, because there's going to be another one. So what do you learn from your situation?
And actually forgiving. Also, that goes into forgiving.
Yeah.
An hour later, we were fine.
Give or take. So, and we don't, and we have this whole discussion in front of the kids. So they're not going to be like, well, mommy, daddy, don't do this, don't do that. I think that's something that people do wrong. They don't have real conversations in front of people or children because they feel they're ashamed or embarrassed about it. There's no need to say that, you can be wrong in front of other people. As long as you don't disrespect the other person. We don't use colorful language, generally speaking, in front of the children. So we
don't use colorful language at each other. That's a rule.
Yeah, that's a rule, a standard that we function with. We don't use we don't use crazy language or yell at each other. So that's one way that you always have respect for each other. And I think that's served us well.
And Andre, I'm not going to let you off. I'm going to ask you the question again. You piggybacked on your wife's question, and I know you're one, but we're going to do this as a dual interview. So what is the one question you would have asked yourself? And I want you to answer that question if you were conducting this interview.
Were you honest with yourself are you honest with yourself when you're making decisions? And I think I do my best to be as honest with myself in accepting the reality of what a situation is. And I think that served me well. Many times I wonder if I've given my all. And if you lay it all out there, that's the athlete mentality in me. Did you try? And that's what I would have. Did you give all that you had? Because sometimes you can only give so much. And like I said, that goes back to the believing that the higher power or a higher power can do the rest for you and gather you, but carry you through a situation. That's how we're still in business.
Artificial intelligence. Are you using it? And what is your thought about artificial intelligence?
We use a little bit of it for, like, we use ChatGPT. We've done some AI generated pieces for jewelry.
I use it regularly, actually. What the aspect of AI that works well for me is it helps you complete a thought. So I will spit into it all that I'm thinking that I want an article to be or a post. I speak well, I feel. So I'll speak to it and I'll say, for example, I want this to be a post or I want this to be a blog or I want this. So I say how I want it to speak and I put as much data in it as possible. And then it spits something back out at me. And that way I'm able to have more complete thoughts faster. So it helps me save time. It still doesn't take away from you. You still have to know what you're doing. You just can't just think it's going to create something for you out of thin air.
My concern with artificial intelligence is that it is going to continue to evolve and take more jobs. And unfortunately, we don't have less people. As more jobs are taken away from working individuals, the question becomes, how do you then create jobs for people? And that is my biggest concern with AI and where it's going.
I would also add something that other companies are going away from is personal touch. And as the luxury that I've come to the resolution this year is the luxury that we provide is we have personal touch. And when everybody's going away from that, we've doubled down and made that the luxury aspect of our service. You can call us, you can speak to us. The goal is to have a certain number of clients so we can service everybody within a certain amount of time. And personal touch, which goes against what everybody else is doing, is how we're going to be a step above everyone else. And having a staff that can facilitate everybody on personal in a competent way, being personal and competent, I think is going to be the new luxury of business.
You talked about the personal touch and employees. You also talked about AI and how it's an interesting season with employees now. Mm-hmm. How do you vet your employees and find those team members?
Right now, we're in a stage where employees, unfortunately, aren't necessary yet. As we grow, our hope is that we are able to bring on staff. Being a family-owned business, a small family-owned business, a large staff is not something that we right now would need. We do a lot of contract work, I will say, with other small businesses for
coins and bullion, for building jewelry.
Right. Well, when we're doing video and we need to hire, but we do a lot of contract work with other small businesses. But God willing, we will get to the place where we can hire a couple of people, and then that will create its own set of issues to then tackle within business because of the nature of our business.
Integrity is the biggest situation in our business.
I can teach you how to buy industry friends, that I can teach you how to buy gold. I can teach you how to do this. I cannot teach integrity because what we do is so very small and so very expensive. It's very easy for it to disappear, so to speak. So the vetting process of that is going to be a conundrum as we grow and tackle this new space.
And it's on the horizon because we've set out a plan and we've achieved a good bit of that plan this year. We rebuilt, and like I said, we pivoted to being a luxury brand, and the numbers are coming, and the numbers have been there. So we have people in line actually, and everything in our business is generally based on referral. So we know what their numbers are, the people that are going to be on our team going forward, and they're like family. So in our space, you don't really get with people that are not like family because you're trusting them with your clients' information, the relationship with your clients. And the people that we do business with, we generally do business for life. That's something that's very hard to replicate. Once you're kind of in, you're in. And the people that used to work with us are the people that we're looking forward to coming back. We know what their number is. We know what how much they need to make. And the goal is to get them back on board, hopefully next year or the year after.
We've come to the part of our interview. It's called Rapid Round of Fun. I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and I'd like you to give me very quick answers. If there's something you desire not to answer, you can say pass. Are you ready for the Rapid Round of Fun?
Sure, let's go.
Your favorite comfort food?
Chocolate.
Trail mix. I make my own.
The last movie you saw?
Pitch Perfect.
John Wick 4. I think we watched that together.
That's the last time we watched. That's the last movie we watched together, but the last movie I watched by myself.
Oh.
Pitch Perfect.
I'm not really watching movies right now. I'm on Suits. I just started Suits for the first time. I just finished season 1.
You relax doing what?
Reading a novel.
Working on photography and graphic design. A lot of the stuff with our company, but I use our kids a lot for test subjects as subjects within photography.
Oh, and crafting. I love to craft. I don't have a lot of time for it, but I love to craft.
Your favorite singer or rapper?
Right now it's Beyonce.
There's a artist named JMSN, great vocalist. Thank you, Spotify, for putting that in my feed.
Your favorite dance song?
Whitney Houston. I Want to Dance with Somebody.
Yes, we danced that at the wedding we went to this summer. My cousin got married. Other favorite dance song? I guess pass because I can't think. My mind went blank.
What food you eat every week, no matter what?
It's not really a food, but I guess it'd be a food replacement. I have a smoothie every day, no matter what. A fresh smoothie.
Likewise. It's a family thing now. The kids aren't on board yet, but they're fighting the process. We do smoothies every morning.
Your ideal car?
A BMW X7.
Panamera, Porsche Panamera GTS. It can carry my little people. I get some speed. It's all-wheel drive, I believe.
Workout or hit the couch?
I'm a hit the couch person, although I'm working on working out.
Workout all day, every day.
Andre and Danielle Osborne, thank you so much for joining us on Black Entrepreneur Experience Podcast. Before we let you go, share with our audience the best way for them to connect with you and to do business with you. And feel free to leave all your social media handles.
Okay. The best way to get in touch with me would be alexlexingtondiamonds.com. My social media is a.lex.diamonds is Instagram, or some people prefer to call, and our number here is 404-815-8893.
For me, it's alexlexington.com, which you can get access to all of our services through. And I like to promote Alex Lexington Network for education and information. My Instagram handle is alex.lexington.precious.metals. And you'll see our signature blue. So that's a way that you can identify us in all of our platforms. Phone number is 404-815-8893.
And why the color blue?
Blue is a color. It's a very strong color. Navy blue is our thing. We put it on everything.
I would have preferred it to be emerald green, but I was outvoted on that.
It works well. We wear a lot of blue. And green is the color that we use with her brand. So everything's about branding. You are your brand. And I think it looks well on us. If you go to the website, if you go to the Instagram, you'll see us doing a lot of events, a lot of educational moments, and we always have the blues, and it's always around us. And it gives a good vibe. It's a good feel.
Thank you, Andre and Danielle. That's a wrap.
Thank you for listening and subscribing to Black Entrepreneur Experience. We would love for you to leave a review and rating on iTunes and share with your friends. For show notes and more episodes, go to www.beepodcast.com. Join us next Wednesday, and remember, green is the new black. So keep your bank accounts and your business in the black.